Welcome to You Should Know This. This is time for another Friday meme dump, number 4, I believe. Been having some recording problems with this one. I recorded a 30-minute video and had no info on there. I hit the wrong button. Uh, I've gone through and taken out the truly offensive memes. If you're offended by these, you need to get off the internet for an hour, go outside, get some fresh air. It'll help with your depression. Take a shower, that'll help with your depression. Um, Smile and say hello to another human. That will also help your depression. Try not to be offended for half an hour. It'll be good for you. This is a Rachel Dolezal meme. She self-identified as trans race. Um, LeBron James self-identifies as a basketball player, and in real life he's actually a flopper. Um, my whole life, I've seen the media badmouth every Republican who ever lived, pretty much. If they went off the reservation and questioned socialism, they were turned into a Nazi monster. So when they say Trump did something bad, the MAGA base has watched 50 years of lies, and they know it's a lie that the media is trying to perpetuate, and we ignore it. It's that simple. We will look at it, we'll read it, we'll look for evidence, we'll see the lie right there. It's in the article, and we'll go on with our lives cheering on Trump, making fun of Democrats who believe everything they're told by the salesman. Um, the Democrats' Lord and Savior Barack, no middle name, Obama, did close the World War II, an open air memorial, a park, a big open empty park, and World War II vets couldn't get in because he wanted to make the Rhino Party look bad. Speaking of rhinos, I'm in Ohio. Ohio Republican, that's a Democrat in a plain dress up. Jim Jordan ignores abuses. Mueller um, ruined a war hero, and Jim Jordan did nothing. Lightheartedness, here we go. Yay, happy thoughts. Back in the 80s, families would go on vacation and they would drive instead of flying. It's a lot of fun driving on vacation. I recommend it. This family, everything hilariously went wrong. The movie was National Lampoon's Vacation. Um, yeah, fantastic movie, very funny. Had quite a few sequels that were actually good, unlike Star Wars. Look, Donald Trump with perverts and alleged murderers, allegedly. Hey, see the guy on the far right, smiling with the tie. Um, when he was in office, they said horrible things about him in the media, and when he died, they said, "Oh, he was a wonderful man." Guy in the middle is Don King, boxing promoter. I There's so much you kids don't know, and you refuse to learn. Movies Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I'm sorry you were kept from seeing something great. Yeah, you're not allowed to watch it. You're too young. You don't understand. Back in the day, um, leftist violence, that's a very common theme. Socialists are okay with committing political violence. They think it's a good thing. Um, they can't win in the arena of ideas. They have to be violent to get anything done. They did a false flag event where they sent poorly constructed fake bombs to different Democrat politicians who bragged about the near death experiences they had. This, yeah, socialist lying and doing violent things is a common theme in reality. Hey, lies by socialists. Um, oh, and since Ted Cruz let this happen and did nothing about it, when the powers that be come after him, I'm going to step aside and let them have him. He, again, just like it, he should be an Ohio Republican. He talks a big game and does nothing when the whistle blows. Back in the 80s, early 80s, there was a cartoon, very enjoyable cartoon called G.I. Joe, and much better than the movies. And it ended with a public service announcement, little safety thing. You had to pull a splinter out, how to clean a wound. You fell in the street and clean a wound. Don't play on construction sites, things like that. Nowadays, it would be don't follow viral TikTok trends, because it would say don't eat Tide Pods and things like that. um, yeah, I'm tired. I'm just tired of watching stuff. Socialism. If somebody tells you, if you mention a socialist failure, massacre, they get mad and say that's not real socialism. But it keeps happening time and time again by unrelated people. And so that is real socialism. So it's like an abusive boyfriend. Oh, I didn't mean to hit you when you caught me cheating. Here's a rose. If you believe that, there's not enough crayons in the world for me to explain to you what reality looks like, and you deserve to be thrown in the gulag like all the other socialist useful idiots, they called them, who went to the gulag in the second wave of cleansing. You can look up socialist massacres. There was Pol Pot and the Great Leap Forward, and the Soviet, what they call them, gulags. No, it's gulags everywhere. Of course, the German Socialist Workers' Party also had some. Another Soviet or socialist massacre was, Pol Pot. He did a year zero thing where he created an agrarian society through force and killed 20% of his population, murdered 20% of his population. It's called the Killing Fields of Cambodia. Um, the There are still piles and piles of human skulls in Cambodia, so people won't forget what not real socialism looks like. Um, a long time ago, I used to trust vaccines, but now I don't trust the vaccine salesman. I realized that salesmen were involved, and 2020 made me realize that sometimes salesmen lie to sell a bad product. Hey, again, Pol Pot murdered 20%. Pol Pot was the highest kill ratio. Highest kill count was Chairman Mao Zedong. If you want to know a good one, the socialist college students were forced to vote for a socialist candidate, and they wanted a second socialist candidate to vote for. Voting rights. They wanted voting rights, voting choices, and the socialist government at Tiananmen Square massacred them. It's difficult to find the Tiananmen Square massacre numbers, but the media was ushered out, and the military started shooting. And yeah, you can look that up if you want to. It's difficult in some countries to find the truth on that one. It's it's censored. Uh, Pooh Bear censors it. Xi Jinping, he censors quite a bit. Um, a long time ago, Canadian TV had a very good show called Corner Gas. I recommend it, especially if you're in a small town. It's a small town. What do you call that thing? Sitcom. Small town sitcom. Very funny. Metric. So, a long time ago, there was war between um, socialist countries, and well, I'm I'm tired of explaining things. I've already explained it twice, three times, twice. Yeah, I already explained it twice. I'm tired. But just know this: metric is for people who are bad at math. I know fractions are hard. Oh, poor baby. Fractions hard. Fractions got us on the moon, though. Pepto Bismol is the champagne of diarrhea medicine. I would accept a sponsorship from them if they offered it. Love that stuff. Imodium's good too. Another classic Canadian comedy was Red Green Show. Very enjoyable. Harambe. If there was a nice border wall around Harambe's enclosure, he would still be alive. Many, many things would not have happened. Many, many cascading domino effects would not have happened. And if you see a kid on a leash when you're out, if you go out in public and see a kid on a leash, just say a prayer for Harambe, because if that little punk had been on a leash, Harambe would still be alive. Again, if you're on the YouTube app, you can pause right here and screen print and use this meme to comment when your friend is being stupid. The kid on the right is the Covington teenager. Yeah, if you look at Covington teenager, you can see how many millions of dollars he got off of media personalities who did zero journalism and just tried to make Trump look bad because somebody in a Trump hat smiled. Yeah, they lost millions on that one. If you see somebody chatting on the news, there's a good chance they're in bed with the Democrats. It's very simple. You ought to see where George Stephanopoulos made his mark. There used to be a wrestler named Macho Man Randy Savage. This is another fun meme to drop on your friends' comments. Before you were born, there was this thing called a comic strip, and Calvin and Hobbes was one of the greatest ever. It ran for quite a few years and then just stopped. And it's still fantastic to this day. There's a lot of college graduates that can agree with this statement. If you weren't in a sorority and you didn't take an internship, you're facing an uphill battle. If you're in college, join a fraternity and do the internships. That's your foot in the door, not the degree. Speaking of honest work, this guy passed away a few weeks ago. Really, I think he did regenerative farming or something like that. It's a very interesting little thing to look at. If you can Google a meme. And there was once a British motoring show for the BBC. Hashtag BBC got stupid, and it was three dudes doing car things, and it was hilarious and very informative. It's called Top Gear UK, they called it. The early 2000s. Fantastic show. Ran for 10, 12 seasons, something like that. Brilliant show. Also from that show. Now, his current show, Clarkson's Farm, is also a fantastic show if you have Amazon Prime. Also, not a sponsor. I still don't have any sponsors for some reason. I'm a genius. Um, yes. Thankfully, Hillary Clinton did not make the president. Uh, they did not know how to plug toilets at the Georgia Superdome when she was running. This is another disappointment. We thought Bill Barr would be good, and he turned out to be a swamp creature. Um, if you happen to do some research on Hillary, Cattlegate, Filegate, Travelgate, you might see some. I want to be within YouTube guidelines. Some self deletions that are questionable. So I don't know how to say that nicely, so that YouTube doesn't. Hopefully, YouTube doesn't strike me on that. I'm sorry you kids have been kept from great media. I don't know who's keeping you from it. I'd like to find them, figure out who they are. This was Caddyshack, Caddyshack. yeah, you've been banned from seeing some fantastic things. I don't know who's causing it, but I like to find them and set them straight. Yeah, it's Caddyshack. Fantastic jokes in that. Very funny little movie. You don't have to be a golf fan to understand it. Back in the early '80s, this cup debuted. There's a restaurant called Whataburger. It was Texas only, and they have finally moved into other states. Great food, stuff like that. But in the early '80s, they debuted this, and I think it was like $3 or $4, which was a cup of coffee was like 25, 50 cents, something like that at a restaurant, right? Or basically, if you're at a sit down restaurant, it was just free coffee. But this restaurant sold this expensive cup as like a glass, weird glass substance, and it's a nickel coffee. And 40 years later, you walk into a Whataburger with one of those cups, they'll pour you coffee and charge you a nickel. Still to this day, those are kind of hard to find. They're collector's items now because most of them got broke because they used the crap out of them. And you're there, you might as well get a sandwich. That's what the reason for it was. Any time of day, 24 hours a day, you get a nickel cup of coffee. This guy's probably had some issues with trespassers. I would assume. Um, I don't need to explain this one to you. If you've heard it once, you've heard it 1,000 times. Pun intended. The anthem and the flag are a symbol of what the Americans believe, and soldiers, sailors, airmen have sacrificed everything to protect those things that are represented by the American flag. If you said you were a super fan of this football team and I urinated on the jersey, you would have the attitude about it, right? These these guys sacrificed everything to uphold the ideals of the greatest country the world has ever seen. So you just walk away. You know, it doesn't make you look tough. See, here in America, one of the high ideals we uphold is freedom of speech. You're already free to speak. You're not brave for speaking out in America. Now, if you speak out in Iran and where they massacred 30,000 citizens, that's a different story. If you speak out in China where they massacred tens of millions of citizens, that's brave. Here in America, we don't massacre people for speaking out. That's why America is one of the greatest countries in the world. This is also media that's been hidden from you. It was the Carol Burnett show, they called it. Freaking hilarious. Um, if you want a YouTube video, Tim Conway elephant story, um, yeah, it's more media kept from you. I'm sorry. You may have seen Letterkenny, and if you didn't have a birthday growing up, you might want to have your super soft birthday there, Big Shoots. When Disney took over Star Wars, everybody thought it would be awesome, and then they destroyed everything it stood for and everything it was about. And it quote unquote made money, but it didn't make the proper amount of money if you do the proper math. It made inflation money and not really anything else. And they could have had they had a fortune at their feet and they destroyed it. But then they had one show called The Mandalorian that was good for a season or two, and it had a cute little baby thing, baby Yoda thing in it, and that's why this creature is so famous. And if you made it to the end, congratulations. Um, if the apocalypse happens and you need mommy's little helper, the Ritalin is locked up, special locked up behind special locks. It's next to the fentanyl and the morphine. So if your drug salesman, doctor, keeps pushing Ritalin, get a second opinion. That's all I got. Like, share, and subscribe, and y'all have a good weekend.